What if I told you that a 1989 or 1986 US nickel could be worth far more than the 5 cents stamped on it? These coins are hiding rare errors that could make them worth hundreds or even thousands. From unusual die breaks to unique misstrikes, these nickels could be a goldmine in your pocket. Stay tuned as we uncover how to spot these hidden treasures and why collectors are paying top dollar for them. The 1989 US nickel might seem like just another coin in your pocket, worth no more than 5 cents. But what if I told you that this simple coin could actually be worth hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars? Yes, you heard that right. Hidden among the billions of nickels minted in 1989 are rare treasures, coins with unique characteristics that set them apart from the rest. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of error coins, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and why some of these coins hold extraordinary value. The Jefferson nickel, as you may know, has been a staple of American currency since 1938. Designed by Felix Schlag, it features the profile of Thomas Jefferson on the front, or obverse, and his historic home, Monticello, on the back, or reverse. By 1989, the nickel had been in circulation for over 50 years, but even in its long history, some coins stand out. That year, billions of nickels were produced across 3 mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint left its own subtle mark, Philadelphia with no visible mint mark, Denver with a small d, and San Francisco with an S for proof coins. While these details seem ordinary, they're just the beginning of what makes the 1989 nickel worth exploring. To understand why these coins can fetch such astronomical prices, you need to know about minting errors. Coins are mass-produced at incredible speeds, with dies striking blank planchets to imprint the design. Given the precision of this process, mistakes are rare, but when they happen, they create anomalies that collectors eagerly seek out. These errors, ranging from minor imperfections to dramatic misstrikes, make a coin unique, and that uniqueness is where the value lies. Let's talk about some of the most common types of errors you might find on a 1989 nickel. First, there are planchet errors. A planchet is the blank piece of metal that becomes a coin, and errors here can result in some fascinating outcomes. For example, a blank planchet might escape the mint without being struck at all. While a blank nickel planchet isn't particularly rare, it can still fetch a decent price from collectors. A more valuable error involves nickels struck on the wrong planchet, like a coin blank meant for a dime or even a foreign coin. These off-metal strikes are incredibly rare and can sell for thousands of dollars. Next, we have die errors. These occur when the dies used to strike the coins become damaged or misaligned. One of the most sought-after errors is the doubled die, where parts of the design appear to be doubled. Imagine Jefferson's face or the Monticello building showing 2 distinct outlines. That's a doubled die, and collectors go wild for it. Another die-related error to look for is die cracks, which appear as raised lines or blobs on the coin due to a damaged die. While these may seem like minor imperfections, they can significantly increase a coin's value. Striking errors, too, are worth your attention. These occur when something goes wrong during the actual striking process. Misaligned die strikes are a common example, where the design is off-center, leaving a blank area on the coin. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more valuable the coin. Broad strikes are another fascinating error, where the coin is struck without the retaining collar, resulting in a coin that's larger and flatter than usual. What makes the 1989 nickel so exciting is that examples of all these errors have been discovered. Take the case of an off-center strike error that left nearly half the design missing. Despite its obvious imperfection, or perhaps because of it, that coin sold for over $500 at auction. Then there's the story of a collector who found a 1989 nickel struck on a planchet intended for a dime. This coin, weighing less than it should and with a thinner appearance, was valued at over $2,000. But the real gems are the double die errors. A 1989 nickel with a pronounced doubling on Jefferson's profile was recently auctioned for several $1,000s. These coins are so rare that finding one could be the discovery of a lifetime. So, how do you know if the nickels in your pocket change could be worth a fortune? It all starts with careful examination. You don't need to be a seasoned collector to get started, just a few basic tools and a keen eye. A magnifying glass or coin loupe is essential for spotting small details like doubling or die cracks. A digital scale can help you identify weight discrepancies that might indicate an off-metal strike. And, of course, reference guides or online resources can help you confirm your findings. Begin by examining the coin's edges. Are there any unusual cuts or clips? Look closely at Jefferson's face and the Monticello building for any signs of doubling. Check the weight and thickness of the coin. Does it feel lighter or thinner than a typical nickel? These small clues can point to major errors that could make your coin valuable. One of the best parts of hunting for error coins is that they can turn up anywhere. A vending machine, a handful of change from a store, or even a box of nickels from the bank could hold a hidden treasure. Take the story of a collector who purchased a $25 box of nickels, which contains 50 rolls, and spent an afternoon carefully examining each coin. Among the thousands of ordinary nickels, they discovered an off-metal strike error that sold for $1,200 at auction. That's quite the return on investment for a few hours of work. If you think you found an error coin, the next step is to determine its value. Factors like rarity, condition, and demand all play a role. Coins in better condition, with minimal wear and clear details, are worth more. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate your coin and assign it a grade, which can significantly increase its value to collectors. When it comes to selling your coin, you have several options. Auctions are a great way to reach serious collectors who are willing to pay top dollar. Reputable coin dealers can also provide appraisals and help you find buyers. Online platforms like eBay can connect you with a wide audience, but be cautious of scams and make sure to list your coin accurately. As we approach the climax of this journey, let's talk about the most valuable 1989 nickel errors ever discovered. Among the top finds is a coin with a dramatic off-center strike, leaving more than half the design missing. This coin sold for over $5,000. Even more impressive is a 1989 nickel struck on a copper planchet, likely intended for a penny. This unique error fetched nearly $10,000 at auction. But the crown jewel of 1989 nickel errors is a one-of-a-kind double-die coin with doubling so pronounced it almost looks like a shadow version of the original design. This coin, in pristine condition and graded by a top service, sold for a staggering six-figure sum. It's stories like these that make coin collecting so thrilling. The idea that a simple nickel could hold such incredible value is almost unbelievable. What makes these coins so valuable isn't just their rarity but the stories they tell. Each error is a snapshot of a moment in the minting process, a tiny glimpse into the intricate machinery that produces billions of coins every year. For collectors, owning one of these errors is like owning a piece of history, a tangible reminder of the unexpected beauty in imperfection. The 1986 Jefferson Nickel might seem like an ordinary coin, one you'd find rattling in your pocket or tucked away in a drawer. But beneath its humble appearance lies a world of fascinating details, minting anomalies, and potential treasures that could turn a 5-cent piece into a collector's dream worth thousands, or even millions, of dollars. Today, we're diving deep into what makes the 1986 nickel so unique, how to identify the rarest and most valuable specimens, and why you should never overlook a nickel in your change again. To truly understand the potential of the 1986 nickel, we first need to start with its foundation. This coin was minted during a period when the U.S. Mint had already perfected the iconic Jefferson nickel design. Since its introduction in 1938, the Jefferson nickel had become a staple in American currency, featuring a profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his beloved home, Monticello, on the reverse. By 1986, this design was well established, but it's not the design that excites collectors. It's the mistakes. Errors in the minting process can turn an otherwise ordinary coin into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. These errors might seem insignificant at first glance: a slightly off-center strike, a faint doubling in the text, or an edge that isn't quite right. But to collectors, these quirks represent rarity, and rarity drives value. Take, for example, the classic broad strike error. This occurs when the collar die, a part of the minting equipment that shapes the coin's edge, malfunctions, allowing the metal to spread out during the strike. A broad strike nickel appears larger and flatter than normal, often with distorted design elements. While this type of error isn't unique to 1986, it's one of the more common anomalies you might find if you start hunting through your change. Broad strike errors can fetch anywhere from $20 to $200, depending on their condition and how dramatic the error is. Then there are off-center strikes, which are exactly what they sound like. These coins are struck off-axis, causing part of the design to be missing entirely. In the case of a 1986 nickel, an off-center strike that's severe but still retains a full date can easily sell for hundreds of dollars. Add in an error like a double strike, where the coin is struck twice, leaving overlapping impressions, and the value climbs even higher. One of the most fascinating categories of errors involves die issues, where the die used to strike the coin is flawed. A double die error, for example, happens when the die itself is engraved twice slightly out of alignment. This creates a doubling effect on the coin's design elements, such as Jefferson's face, the lettering, or the Monticello building. For collectors, the clearer and more noticeable the doubling, the higher the value. While not every 1986 nickel with a double die error will command top dollar, some of the finest examples have sold for thousands. And it's not just die errors that can make a 1986 nickel valuable. Planchet errors are another goldmine for collectors. The planchet is the blank metal disc that becomes the coin, and any imperfection in its preparation can lead to unusual results. A clipped planchet, where a portion of the coin appears to be bitten off, is one such example. Another rare and highly sought-after anomaly is a coin struck on the wrong planchet entirely. Imagine a nickel struck on a dime's planchet, smaller, thinner, and made of different metal. These types of errors are rare by nature, and when they do appear, they can sell for staggering amounts. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1986 nickel especially intriguing. It's the sheer number of coins minted that year. Between the Philadelphia and Denver mints, over 1.4 billion nickels were struck in 1986. With such a high production volume, the likelihood of minting errors increases. It's a simple matter of numbers: the more coins you produce, the greater the chance for something to go wrong. But even with this high mintage, error coins remain scarce because many were caught and removed during quality control. So how do you, as an everyday person, spot these valuable errors? It starts with a careful examination. A magnifying glass or coin loop with at least 10x magnification is essential. Look closely at Jefferson's profile. Are there any unusual lines or doubling? Check the lettering, especially on the reverse where the words Monticello and United States of America appear. Even a subtle variation could signal a valuable error. Don't forget to inspect the coin's edge. While the Jefferson nickel has a smooth edge by design, an error such as a partial collar strike can create ridges or uneven textures. Weighing the coin is also crucial. Any deviation from the standard weight of 5 grams could indicate a planchet error. Now, let's move from theory to reality with some real-life examples. In 2018, a collector stumbled upon a 1986 Jefferson nickel with a double die obverse. The doubling on Jefferson's face was clear and distinct, making it a standout example of this error. After being authenticated and graded by a professional service, the coin sold at auction for over $3,000. Another notable discovery involved a 1986 nickel struck on a planchet intended for a foreign coin. The metal composition didn't match that of a standard nickel, and the coin was slightly lighter in weight. This incredibly rare error was eventually sold for more than $10,000. But the most valuable 1986 nickels are those with a combination of errors. Picture a coin with an off-center strike, a double die obverse, and a clipped planchet. Each of these errors is rare on its own, but together, they create a truly one-of-a-kind piece. Such coins are the holy grail for collectors and can fetch tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands, of dollars, depending on their condition and the severity of the errors. The allure of these coins isn't just about money, though. It's about the thrill of discovery. Imagine sifting through a roll of nickels from the bank, pulling out one that looks a little odd, and realizing you found a treasure. That moment of excitement, of holding a piece of history with untold value, is what drives collectors to keep searching. If you're inspired to start your own hunt, there are a few practical tips to keep in mind. First, check your loose change regularly. Error coins often go unnoticed because most people don't take the time to inspect their coins. Second, consider buying rolls or bags of nickels from banks. This gives you a larger sample size to search through and increases your odds of finding something special. Third, join online forums or local coin clubs. These communities are a treasure trove of knowledge, and you can learn from seasoned collectors who've been in the game for years. It's also important to protect your finds. Coins with significant errors should be handled carefully to avoid damage. Store them in coin flips, capsules, or albums to keep them safe from scratches and environmental damage. And if you think you found a truly valuable coin, consider getting it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A high-grade certification can dramatically increase a coin's value and make it easier to sell. So what makes the 1986 nickel potentially worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, or even millions? It's a perfect storm of rarity, error variety, and collector demand. While not every coin from this year will be valuable, the possibility of uncovering a rare gem is what keeps the search exciting. Whether it's a broad strike, a double die, or a planchet error, these anomalies transform a humble nickel into a piece of numismatic art. And here's the best part, these coins are still out there. They're hiding in drawers, jars, and pockets, waiting to be discovered by someone with the patience and curiosity to look a little closer. Will you be the one to find the next great 1986 nickel treasure? The answer might just be in your spare change. Now that you know how much a 1989 or 1986 nickel could be worth, it's time to take a closer look at your own coins. Could you have one of these rare errors waiting to be discovered? If you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to like, comment with your thoughts or findings, and subscribe for more exciting content on rare and valuable coins. Who knows, your next jackpot could be just a coin flip away.